everybody, welcome back to my channel Learn with Virali. I'm Virali, your guide on this coding adventure. Welcome to episode 9 of Introduction to CSS for Beginners, understanding how we can set margins for our HTML web pages. So let's get started. The CSS properties are used to create space around elements outside of any defined borders. With CSS, you have a full control over the margins. There are properties for setting the margin for each side of the element. So it could be either top, right, bottom, and the left. So you can set this margins as and how you need. Moving on to what are different margin types. There are 4 different margin types in CSS. First one as margin top, second as margin bottom, third as margin left, and fourth as margin right. Let us understand the margin properties that we can use while specifying the values for all these 4 types of margins. So all margin properties can have the following values. If you specify margin as auto, the browser calculates the margin by itself according to the size of the screen. If there is some length which is specified for those 4 types of margins, it could be specified in terms of px as in pixel, pt as in points, and then cm as a centimeter, or there are many other formats in which you can specify the length of the margins. The third type is to specify it in the percentage. So it specifies a margin in the percentage of width of the containing element. And the fourth type is to inherit. Specifies that the margin should be inherited from the parent element. Please remember, negative values are allowed here. Let us see the example of how to define a margin for an element as a p tag. If you can notice here, we have 4 different types of margins as in margin top, margin bottom, margin right, and margin left, which is having specific values which are specified using the length property, specifying it as px, meaning 100 pixels, 150 pixels, and 80 pixels. Let us see if we can shorten this in a shorthand format. So to shorten the code, it is possible to specify all the margin properties within one single line. The margin property is a shortened property for the following individual margin properties, which is going to include definitely those 4 types, which is margin top, margin bottom, margin left, and margin right. So let us take an example of how to write this shorthand property with margins. So as you can see, the highlighted value here, which is specifying the keyword as margin, giving the value as 4 different values specified or differentiated by a space. Starting with the top margin is 25 pixels, right margin is 50 pixels, bottom margin is 75 pixels, and the left margin is 100 pixels. Understanding margin as an auto and inherited simply allows us to specify that you can set the margin property to auto to horizontally center the element within its container. The element will then take up the specified width and the remaining space will be split equally between the left and the right margins. So as you can see on the right hand side, we have specified a div element which is containing a width of 300 pixels. Margin is specified here as auto, and then there is a small border that is given here which is in the red color. So as we can use auto in terms of specifying the margins, we can also use the property of inherit in terms of specifying it to take or to understand the margin values from the parent element. If this video was insightful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as it helps me to create more such insightful videos. Until then, happy coding.